Representative Mills.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for everyone that's here. You know, I first want to start out by saying that I'm a very proud United States Army combat veteran. Served a lot of my time overseas. Happily spent a lot of that in Fort Bragg in the 82nd Airborne Division, where I served with a Cambodian gentleman who was born in Cambodia and lived in Los Angeles. Served with a black gentleman who was born in Brooklyn. I served with a Caucasian gentleman who was born in Lombard, Illinois. There was quite a bit of diversity. We had come from different walks of life, but what brought us together wasn't DEI and critical race theory-based training. It was cohesive training and an understanding of what it was to have increased lethality and bring us together knowing that we would be there to fight and protect one another. Now, I want to ask a quick question to all of you. When's the last time each of you had walked through Arlington Cemetery?
Congressman, I was just there last week.
I walk through there almost every day. I live in that area. And
2 years ago, Congressman.
Congressman, I used to be the Chief of Staff to the Army Secretary, which, as you know, is the executive agent for Arlington. So it's been
Excellent.
a few years.
So then you could all answer this question very easily. How is our headstones aligned? Are they in rows by race or by gender or by what their religious belief is or their sexual orientation?
Some of them are done by religious belief. Those Jewish service members have a different tombstone than a cross, but you know, they are aligned diagonally and make sure they're in line as in formation.
But is it aligned by their race or by their genders? It's not. I'll help you with that. It's aligned by who you were fighting and who you died beside, what battlefield that you fell on, what ultimate sacrifice that you made for this nation. Now, that seems like a really positive thing whenever you talk about the fact that they didn't look at who it was that I was next to that I died, but the fact that we were all fighting the same fight, because at the end of the day, we all bled green. Kind of the military I came from, where we believed in increased lethality and readiness and not CRT, DEI, and pronouns. But as I said before, Mr. Cisneros, we absolutely 150% can out-pronoun every single one of our adversaries. And China and Russia, I'm sure, are quaking in their boots over this. Now, would you be surprised that the American Psychological Association put potential focus on questions regarding the trainings that don't improve diversity or counter bad biases? And according to the APA's literature review, their study actually shows that, in fact, some studies had indicated that these trainings had the opposite effect. You see, diversity in our military is a good thing, and we can all agree to that. But allocating additional training time and starting to identify and ensure that we drive a wedge as opposed to a cohesiveness is not a good thing. And as my colleagues talked about, there should be an equal standard with regards to how we identify racism, because anyone can be a racist. Is that not true?
Racism is not specific to one gender, race, or...
Thank you so much. Finally, we got an answer out of that one, because I know my colleague had been asking for quite some time. And you are a fantastic politician. I will give you that, because you have been able to walk around questions, and I've seen it multiple times. Since implementing DEI, have we seen our recruitment numbers increase?
Congressman, DEI is nothing new to the department. We've been integrating the force actually since, again, since President Truman's
I never had a single hour
order.
of DEI training, I can tell you right now. Has DEI, in your terms, since you have included it as part of the actual basic combat trainings or boot camps, has it increased our recruitment numbers?
Again, this training is not new. DEI training.
We have never had it in my military time. So you're going to tell me that this was in place when I was in the military. Is that what
I'm
you're
going to
trying
tell
say?
you, when I was in the military, we did have diversity training. We did have equal opportunity training. We did.
Equal opportunity is a totally different thing than what you're describing. And especially when you talk about things like the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Waltz, was talking about with regards to white rage training and things like this. And I can tell you that I didn't experience that during mine. Did you experience that during your trainings?
I did not experience that under my training either, but I will tell you from what the superintendent of West Point has said, they're not conducting that type of training at West Point either.
Do you think that our recruitment numbers are where they need to be at 25,000 in deficit?
I am telling you, we do have a problem with recruiting.
And do you think that has
deny
anything to do with the morale that has been killed and determined that DEI and CRT has become the priority over increased lethality and readiness of our U.S. forces?
I would say our readiness of our forces is the most important thing. This nation is ready to be defended by our armed services.
Well, then I look forward to you actually
DEIA
prioritizing
is
our recruitment
not
and our
the-
actual lethal force
DEIA
strategy
is
as
not the
opposed to
problem with
DEI. Thank you so
recruiting.
much. And with that, I yield back my time.
Yield 5 minutes to Representative Sewell.